If you've seen headlines or posts saying that the I-130 priority system is changing in February 2026 and you're panicking about what this means for your family petition, take a breath. I know how stressful it is when you see breaking news like this and you don't know if it affects you, if your case will be delayed, or if something you've been waiting years for is suddenly at risk. You're not alone in feeling confused right now, and that's exactly why I'm here. I'm Saqib, and you're watching Global Immigration Updates, where we cut through the noise and give you fact-based immigration news without the rumors, without the panic, and without the politics. If this is your first time here, this is a safe space to understand what's really happening in immigration so you can make informed decisions for yourself and your family. So let's talk about what's actually going on with the I-130 priority change that's being discussed for February 2026. First, I want to be very clear about what an I-130 petition is, because not everyone watching may be familiar with the technical terms. The I-130 is officially called the Petition for Alien Relative. It's the form that U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents file with USCIS to sponsor certain family members for a green card. This is the first step in the family-based immigration process. Once USCIS approves the I-130, the case either moves to the National Visa Center if the family member is outside the United States, or it stays with USCIS for adjustment of status if the person is already in the country. Now, the priority date is one of the most important concepts in family immigration. When USCIS receives your I-130 petition, that receipt date becomes your priority date. Think of it like getting a number at the deli counter. Your priority date holds your place in line. For immediate relatives of U.S. citizens, like spouses, parents, and unmarried children under 21, there's no waiting because visas are always available. But for other family categories, like siblings of U.S. citizens or married children of green card holders, there are annual limits on how many visas can be issued. So your priority date determines when a visa becomes available for you based on the monthly visa bulletin published by the State Department. Here's what people are worried about. There have been reports and some official discussions suggesting that USCIS may change how priority dates are assigned or processed starting in February 2026. Some of the speculation includes whether USCIS might start using the date a petition is approved instead of the date it's received, or whether certain categories might be prioritized differently to reduce backlogs. These discussions have created a lot of anxiety, especially for people who have been waiting for years and are counting on their current priority date. Let me separate what we know from what we don't know. As of right now, USCIS has not published a final rule or official policy change that fundamentally alters how priority dates work for I-130 petitions. What we do have are proposals, internal memos, and policy discussions that have been leaked or reported in immigration news outlets and forums. Some of these discussions are part of broader efforts by USCIS to modernize the system, reduce processing times, and address the massive backlogs that have built up over the years. But a proposal is not the same as a final implemented change. One rumor that's been circulating is that if you file your I-130 now, your priority date might not be honored under the new system. This is misleading. Even if USCIS changes its processing procedures, priority dates that have already been established are protected. U.S. immigration law respects the date you entered the queue, and changing that retroactively would face serious legal challenges. There is no credible indication that anyone who already has a priority date will lose it or have it changed against them. Another concern is that the change will only affect certain countries or certain categories. While it's true that visa backlogs are longer for applicants from countries like Mexico, India, China, and the Philippines due to per-country limits, any procedural change to how USCIS handles I-130s would still have to follow the Immigration and Nationality Act. USCIS cannot pick and choose which cases get priority dates and which don't based on nationality alone. What they can do is improve how cases are processed internally, but the law itself governs visa availability. So who is actually affected by this potential change? If you've already filed your I-130 and have a priority date, you should not be negatively impacted. Your place in line is established. If you're planning to file an I-130 soon and you're worried about missing a deadline, understand that there is no announced cutoff date where the rules suddenly flip. If USCIS does implement a new priority date system, it would almost certainly apply to petitions filed after a specific future date, and they would announce that date clearly in advance. Immigration agencies do not make changes like this overnight without public notice. If you're someone whose priority date is already current or close to being current according to the visa bulletin, this rumor should not change your timeline. You should continue to follow the normal process, respond to any requests from USCIS or the National Visa Center, and prepare for your interview or adjustment as planned. Now let's talk about what you should realistically do. If you haven't filed your I-130 yet, and you're eligible to do so, there's no reason to rush in panic, but there's also no reason to delay unnecessarily. If your case is ready, meaning you have all your documents, you meet the requirements, and you're prepared to file, then go ahead and file. Don't wait just because you're trying to game the system or predict what might happen in February. Immigration decisions should be based on your real situation, not on speculation. If you've already filed and you're waiting, keep monitoring the visa bulletin every month. The State Department publishes it on their website around the 8th to the 15th of each month. That's your official source for knowing when your priority date might become current. Don't rely on screenshots from Facebook groups or WhatsApp forwards. Go directly to the State Department's website or to uscis.gov for official updates. If you're confused about your specific case, or you have complicated circumstances like previous denials, criminal history, or immigration violations, consult with a licensed immigration attorney. I'm not a lawyer, and this video is not legal advice. I'm here to give you accurate information so you can understand what's happening, but your individual case may need professional guidance. Let me also remind you of something very important. Immigration rules, especially ones that affect millions of people, do not change overnight. There are procedures in place. When USCIS wants to make a major policy change, they usually issue a proposed rule, open it for public comment, review those comments, and then issue a final rule with an effective date. This process takes months, sometimes years. Even if something is being discussed internally at USCIS right now, it doesn't mean it will happen in February or that it will happen at all. Agencies propose things all the time that get revised, delayed, or scrapped entirely. The immigration system has problems. It's slow, it's backlogged, and it's frustrating for everyone involved. But it's also governed by laws and regulations that can't just be flipped on a whim. There is due process. There are courts. There are advocacy groups that challenge unfair changes. You are not powerless, and you are not without protection. What I want you to take away from this video is clarity. The I-130 priority date system has not changed yet. There are discussions and proposals, but nothing final. If you already have a priority date, it's protected. If you're planning to file, don't panic, but don't delay unnecessarily either. Stay informed by checking official sources like uscis.gov and the State Department's Visa Bulletin. Ignore the fear-mongering posts on social media. And if you need help with your case, talk to a qualified immigration attorney. This is exactly why Global Immigration Updates exists. I want you to have a place where you can get the truth without the drama, where you can understand what's really happening in immigration without having to sift through rumors and clickbait. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Share this video with anyone you know who might be worried about their family petition. and leave your questions in the comments below. I read them, and I use them to decide what to cover next. Immigration is already stressful enough. You shouldn't have to deal with misinformation on top of it. Stay calm, stay informed, and trust the process. I'll see you in the next video.